Ladies and gentlemen, grab your seatbelts because Trooper Tre Davis is about to turn another suspect's road trip into a roller coaster ride. On October 14, 2024, Trooper Tre Davis was in the area of West Broadway, assisting the North Little Rock Police Department in a pursuit of a blue Dodge Challenger that had previously fled from them and was later spotted near Main Street. At the intersection, NLRPD officers successfully deployed stop sticks, puncturing 3 of the vehicle's tires and causing them to deflate. Davis quickly assumed the role of primary unit in the pursuit, as speeds climbed to approximately 85 miles per hour. As the suspect vehicle approached the Broadway Bridge, Davis executed a pit maneuver, causing the Challenger to rotate counterclockwise and come to a stop in the intersection. The driver, later identified as Kevin Polite, was taken into custody without incident and turned over to NLRPD, where he was charged accordingly. Further investigation revealed Polite had 3 nationwide extradition warrants out of Texas, along with a felony warrant from the Saline County Sheriff's Office. A female passenger was questioned at the scene and later released by NLRPD after the investigation was completed. On July 7, 2024, Trooper Tre Davis was patrolling the area of Fooshdam Pike when he observed a Toyota Camry run a red light. Davis caught up to the vehicle near the 4-mile marker westbound and activated his emergency lights and sirens to initiate a traffic stop, but the driver of the Toyota refused to yield. Before the pursuit escalated to dangerous speeds, Davis positioned his unit alongside the passenger side of the suspect vehicle and executed a pit maneuver, bringing the chase to an end. The Toyota spun clockwise, collided with the concrete barrier on the right shoulder, and came to a stop. The driver exited the vehicle, began walking away, and tossed an object, later identified as marijuana, off the bridge. The suspect, identified as Giovanni Mosley, was transported to Baptist Health Center in Little Rock for evaluation before being booked into the Pulaski County Regional Jail. He was charged with fleeing, tampering with evidence, and possession of a controlled substance. On February 16, 2024, Trooper Davis was patrolling the interstate when he noticed a GMC Yukon displaying expired tags. When he attempted to initiate a traffic stop, the driver refused to pull over and continued at a slow pace. Davis then activated his emergency lights and sirens, officially initiating a pursuit.
Come back around or taking on there.
TBI John Barrow 630. He's getting back on the road. John Barrow coming over 630 now. We're at the on-ramp, 630 west. John Barrow, my bumper's hooked on him.
I'm not even gonna come up with under it.
.630 west, another TBI.
Davis executed a series of pit maneuvers on the GMC, at one point even getting his bumper briefly lodged against the suspect's wheel. After the third and final pit, the Yukon spun out and came to a complete stop on the right shoulder of Interstate 430. The driver initially refused to comply, forcing officers to pull him out through the window before placing him under arrest without further incident. EMS soon arrived to assess a leg injury sustained by the driver. He was later charged with fleeing and reckless driving. On December 7, 2024, Trooper Davis was patrolling near Baseline Road when he observed an orange Dodge Challenger cutting through a private parking lot to bypass a red light at the intersection. Davis activated his emergency lights to proceed through the intersection and conduct a traffic stop. But as soon as he did, the Challenger accelerated rapidly. Realizing the driver was attempting to flee, Davis notified Troop A that he was initiating a pursuit.
Activation is for your glass.
People notify the rock.
As the suspect attempted to turn onto Oman Road, the Challenger briefly lost traction, giving Davis the opportunity to execute a pit maneuver that disabled the vehicle. The driver, later identified as Markel Campbell, refused to comply with officers' commands, prompting Davis to unholster his taser and deploy a cartridge. Campbell fell to the ground and was taken into custody without further resistance. A search of the vehicle uncovered approximately 1 gram of suspected methamphetamine and 3 grams of marijuana. Campbell was transported to Baptist Health Medical Center, where he was medically cleared before being booked into the Pulaski County Regional Jail. He was charged with fleeing, reckless driving, possession of a controlled substance, expired tags, and no liability insurance. On May 14, 2024, Troop A Communications advised Trooper Davis that the Little Rock Police Department was pursuing a reckless driver in the Baseline Road area and requested his assistance. Moments later, Davis observed the suspect vehicle, a black Mercedes sedan, speeding past his location. He immediately activated his emergency lights and sirens, notifying Troop A that he was joining the pursuit.
Come on, guy.
Traffic, speed 130, coming up 14.
They're taking the 4? Taking the 4?
Taking the 4.
Eastbound or current west?
Eastbound, current west. We caught something at Carroll and Ledwig.
TVI 36 Ludwig.
TVI 36 Ledwig.
As the suspect attempted to turn onto 36th Street, Davis executed a pit maneuver, causing the Mercedes to partially rotate counterclockwise before the driver regained control and re-entered 36th Street. Davis then performed a final pit maneuver at the intersection of 36th and Malloy Street, forcing the vehicle to a stop near a landscaping wall. The driver, later identified as Dejuan Ridgway, jumped out and fled on foot. Davis pursued on foot and ultimately detained Ridgway behind a residence a few blocks away. LRPD officers soon arrived to assist, and Ridgway was transferred into their custody to be charged accordingly. 2 unidentified passengers were also seen fleeing the vehicle after the pit maneuver, but officers were unable to locate them in the area. On August 5, 2024, Trooper Davis was patrolling Interstate 630 West near John Barrow when he observed a silver Toyota Camry traveling below the posted speed limit. Suspecting suspicious behavior, Davis activated his emergency lights to conduct a traffic stop, but the driver immediately accelerated at high speed, initiating a pursuit. As speeds climbed to 70 miles per hour, Davis positioned his unit on the driver's side of the Camry and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to spin counterclockwise, leave the roadway, and tumble down a steep embankment into the parking lot of a private business before rolling to a stop. Davis then observed two black male occupants fleeing on foot, but was able to successfully apprehend them. During questioning, both claimed they had been asleep throughout the incident. The driver, however, managed to escape on foot and, despite assistance from the Little Rock Police Department's K-9 unit, was not located. On May 22, 2024, Trooper Davis was patrolling Interstate 430 North when he noticed a gray Chevrolet Cruze traveling in the second lane, with its passenger side headlight out. As the vehicle merged onto Interstate 630 East, Davis activated his emergency lights to initiate a traffic stop, but the driver refused to pull over. Instead, the suspect exited at John Barrow and pulled into a gas station, circling around the pumps in an attempt to evade.
Don't take off, I'm gonna pitch you out. Turn the car off.
16, take it that way.
1037, eastbound on Canis.
Alright, Trooper, let's go 1063 for Tower 14, second shuttle.
TGI, Canis, and Michael. Hey, you better stop right there!
Trooper Davis executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to spin clockwise before it rolled backward into a tree. The driver then fled on foot into a densely wooded area, and despite a brief foot pursuit, managed to escape. A subsequent search of the vehicle uncovered a title identifying the registered owner as Justin Walker. Authorities plan to seek a warrant for Walker on charges of fleeing, operating a vehicle with a defective headlight, and failure to wear a seatbelt. On December 22, 2024, Troop A advised of a reckless driver in the area of Interstate 530 North. Trooper Davis responded and located the suspect vehicle, identified as a black Chevrolet Malibu. He activated his emergency lights and sirens to initiate a traffic stop, but the vehicle failed to yield, prompting a pursuit.
Getting on Roosevelt Road.
TVI, just past Roosevelt.
To prevent the suspect from leading troopers on a high-speed chase, Davis closed in and executed a pit maneuver, causing the vehicle to spin clockwise and come to a stop on the right shoulder. The driver was taken into custody without further incident. During the interaction, Davis observed that the driver's eyes were bloodshot and watery, and he smelled strongly of alcohol. A search of the vehicle revealed a bottle of liquor in the center console. The driver, identified as Nicholas Stewart, was charged with fleeing, driving while intoxicated, and operating a vehicle with a suspended license. On November 26, 2024, Trooper Davis was patrolling near the Interstate 630 West Fair Park exit ramp when he observed a black Jeep Renegade take the exit and run a red light. As Davis stopped behind the vehicle, he saw the driver, a younger, light-skinned black male wearing a dark hoodie, begin to exit the Jeep. The suspect then continued fleeing southbound on Harrison Street, showing complete disregard for other traffic. Davis immediately notified Troop A Communications that he was initiating a pursuit.
Southbound Harrison, across 12. Unreasonable tag. Black Jeep Renegade. Southbound Jackson. A light skin, black male, black hoodie. East 50, no traffic. Westbound on 18. Southbound on Big Urine. Come up to Charles. TBI, Charles, Bussy, and Harrison. Stop right there!
The pursuit continued through the residential area near 12th Street until Davis executed a pit maneuver, successfully disabling the fleeing Jeep. After the maneuver, the suspect exited the vehicle and fled on foot, dropping a black backpack and a phone he had removed from the vehicle. Davis pursued on foot through the neighborhood, but eventually lost sight of the suspect among the houses on the block. While searching the discarded items, Davis recovered a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson handgun and approximately 4 grams of suspected crack cocaine. Numerous documents bearing the name Charles McCrary were also found, confirming his identity as the fleeing suspect. Authorities plan to seek a warrant for McCrary on charges including fleeing, reckless driving, possession of drugs and firearms, theft by receiving, and driving without a license.
Thank you all for watching this video. Make sure to comment which clip you like the most. Also, don't forget to subscribe and like this video.